What is up, guys? So today I finally bring you one of the videos that I've had pending for quite some time, but I could never get my mind together on it in a satisfactory way. But today I feel like I finally have all of the details to be able to present this to you. These are the types of managers that I have personally witnessed, encountered, seen, worked with. I mean this in just the lightest way possible. You guys let me know who's your favorite type of manager out of the ones that I am getting ready to present, and let me know which one frustrates you the most. Or alternatively, if you have managerial experience, which one describes you the best. The first type of manager that I can think of goes way back to when I first started. And I will call this one the momager. That's because this type of manager randomly buys you things, especially if this manager knows that you're needy. In my case, it was a she. If she knows that you're needy, she will just out of the blue come to you with something for you to either try, or she knows the things that you like and she just spoils you with it. She also tends to have like the sweetest personality. I mean, this person is never mean to you, never frowns at you, just absolutely an angel fallen from heaven. Also, this person tends to let you go home early, and you seriously cannot remember seeing this person mad, although you know that they can get mad. They just don't get mad at you. This person also goes way out of her way to help you. She'll help you have the smoothest shift ever to where you're not working too much. This is just a really super fun person to be around, always making jokes or making jokes out of situations, always finding a way to make you smile even without trying. You also personally tend to confide in this person. And this person also tends to have like the most genuine advice for you if you share a difficulty that you're having in your life. And this person is just very, very loving and definitely finds something to compliment you on. And you know that it's a genuine compliment. It's nothing forced or anything, just genuine compliments. I want to say this ranks as one of my top favorite managers, but unfortunately, it's not always practical to be this way. Then you have the type of manager who's like a sibling. They may be really close to your age or maybe about a decade different, but they remind you of your siblings so much because you will fight. In my case, this was a lady as well. You will fight like your sisters. And I don't even have any sisters, but I can't imagine what it would be like to fight with a sister. But even then, the fights that I would have with this person, I would call them fights, but it was really more like, girl, I disagree with you because I feel like you're being taken advantage of and I don't understand why you tolerate it. And you just try to wake this person up, but they're so lost in their way that you get frustrated, and that's how it turns into a fight. But anyway, at the end of the day, this type of manager also defends you from mean customers. I cannot even begin to count the number of times this person stood up for me when I was being accused of stuff that wasn't true. Also, when I was being treated unfairly. The sibling manager is always support oriented. Just like the momager, they try to find ways for you to have a good shift, for you to be happy, for you to be comfortable. They ask you which register you like. They give you options. As best as they can, they accommodate your request for what time you want to go on break. It's not always possible. They'll give you a heads up if they cannot make that happen, but they really try their darnedest to support you. In addition, this person will stand up for you, which is strange because they may not be able to stand up for themselves, but they stand up for you somehow. It's like, you do not mess with my little child here, with my little sister. That's why I feel like this is like a sibling kind of relationship at work. Even if they are broke as hell, if you say that you're hungry and short on money, they will buy you lunch. even if you don't express that you want to have help with your lunch, if you're tight on money, they will somehow just give you a surprise gift card that they personally buy. It's like, hey, you've been working so hard today. I'm sorry that today's shift just sucks because we have so many people absent or whatever it is. And then they'll chip in a couple of bucks, even if they're broke, but they're like, I know it's not much, but I just want to express my gratitude. And you're like, I come here to work. This is what it's all about. You never know what the day is going to throw at you. But at the same time, it's a way of helping maintain the relationship strong. So I understand the gesture. Now, you have the manager who I would call mean business. And what I mean by that is that this manager means business. They are always observing everybody in the department, and they come up to you to find things for you to do. Strategically, it's like, I'm going to have this person going to get carts, but then I will make sure that I leave a person behind to keep the lines down. And I'll also leave a person to watch over the desk, stuff like that. They also tend to coach you on areas that you could personally improve to help the business, say upselling and creating conversations with customers that may entice them into buying something, stuff like that. How to strengthen your social skills, pretty much. Be more entertaining for the customer so that you can give them a better experience, which this doesn't always work out because you get to know your customer so well that you can tell who is the lightning customer, who's there for like their couple of things and they're just ready to go. Like, you are barely done scanning and they have already paid for their order. So it would be pretty awkward for you to try to start a conversation with them when you know that they're ready to desert you. This type of manager can be pretty stressful sometimes, only because they understand that the department is their responsibility and they have to answer to like higher ups. So this person can sometimes be misinterpreted as someone who's not fun to be around, someone who's intense, someone who overworks you. But at the end of the day, eventually, you'll get so used to this management style that this person will leave you alone because you're running on autopilot, being productive, and therefore you don't have to really deal with this manager anymore. Sometimes you can go a whole shift without talking to them besides the greeting and dismissal. And unfortunately, this type of manager also tends to look like they're going through some mood swings. It's like, you were happy 5 minutes ago, but now you're giving me an attitude. Or you were perfectly fine this morning and now you're like unrecognizable. Or the opposite, you came in with such a mood that not even the sun could warm you up, but now you're like really cheerful and jovial, and what happened to you? You can never read this person sometimes. However, in spite of all of that, you notice that when this manager is around, you feel safest. You know that everything is going to be handled fairly. This person is not going to forget about you. Say the time that you need to leave, the time that you're due for your break. They are really good about the operational aspect of the department, even if some other stuff they could be a little better at. Then you have the type of manager that personally frustrates me, but at the same time, I cannot help but feel empathy and also, to a certain extent, admire them. And this is the no fucks given manager. It is exactly what it sounds like. This is the kind of manager that gets there whenever. It could be minutes before their shift starts, or it could be barely within the window of extra time that you have before you're considered tardy. But this kind of manager, even if the department is falling apart, even if we have like a storm of customers, they somehow will let you go on your break no matter the time, no matter what's happening. There could be a tornado about to strike the building. If that's when you want to go have your lunch, he will let you. This is also the kind of manager who definitely has no objection with letting you go home early because they understand they're just as fed up and they just don't want to see you suffer. In addition, this manager can sometimes choose you to vent to about how their job is going, which the sibling, I forgot to mention this as well, the sibling tends to confide in you more for their personal aspects of their lives more than work. But this no fucks given manager gives so little fucks that he is not afraid to bitch to you about what is happening about the job within the job that upsets them. And they're just not afraid of hiding that. And I admire that because, hey, if something is going wrong, don't be afraid to show it so that we can understand just how much it affects you, as opposed to trying to suppress that. And then when the bomb finally explodes, you're all shooketh, but this person is dropping the hint that disaster is about to strike and they're not afraid to show it. I have to admire that. This type of manager also tends to bend the rules a lot. Like, they'll let you text, they'll let you eat. When it comes to customer differences, they come really close to pretty much giving the store away to that customer who is upset. That is the ultimate method of appeasement, and they're not afraid of going that extra mile. Then this kind of manager is also so fed up with life that they can start to close down the department a little earlier than usual, and they're not afraid to explain to you, hey, if we start knocking out these things, we can maybe leave on time or maybe slightly early. They'll help you as well with the shutdown process, and you're like, I like this person because I'm tired of shit. I'm ready to go. I need to recover. I need a break. I need to breathe. And this manager, will make this happen no matter what. But sadly, this kind of manager also tends to exhibit a lot of stress. Sometimes their stress comes out and you're a victim of it. Like, they might be temporarily mean to you, but you know that deep down they don't mean it. Or they're just constantly like in an accelerated, rushed, just absolute stressed out. You feel bad for them, but at the same time you're like, this is not right. Nobody should be at their job feeling that way. And you think that it's this person who doesn't know how to handle stresses. It's something that you can admire. You can also feel bad for, but you also feel grateful for it because this person is not sugarcoating the situation or pretending they're cool with stuff as it is. And also, this kind of manager can be the kind of manager who they just arrived to the department and they go, I'm ready to go. They're not even 5 minutes into their shift. You already hear them saying, I'm ready to go. Even though this type of manager goes to the extremes to appease a customer, deep down, they absolutely hate the customer. They will tell you why they did what they did, and it looks like great customer service, but deep down, they're like, I hate this customer. The customer is always wrong, but somehow we need to treat them like they're right and rectify the situation because we want for them to leave with a positive perception of the place so that if they have a bad experience in their mind, they'll tell the distorted story to 10 people, but only tell the good story maybe to one person, and it's only a 50% chance that this person will share the positive experience. This tends to be the kind of manager that frustrates me a little bit because you don't want to judge them. You don't have their job. You don't know what it's like. But sometimes that management style affects you because you know that some of the stuff they're doing is not the ideal thing to do in certain situations. And you may end up copying that when another manager is there and they question you about it, but you don't want to throw this other manager under the bus, but you have to explain where your thinking process came from. This kind of manager can leave me a little bit stressed out as well, because I know that the rules are being bent and I'm supposed to be able to model after these people, but that's when you realize that you cannot. Then you have the helicopter manager, and I want to say that this is the manager that absolutely frustrates me the most, infuriates me the most, depresses me the most, and just makes me want to quit. This is the kind of manager who is somehow always criticizing you on how you do things, everything that you do. Your ideas, even as good as they are, they have flaws. This person focuses on the flaws. They never focus on the good things, the positive things. It is rare that you get a compliment from this person. And even if you get a compliment from them, you cannot help but wonder if you're being genuine. It's a very, very sad, stressful situation to be in. Nobody deserves that. This person is undoubtedly a micromanager. They really go by the book, but sometimes they realize that it's best for them to let some stuff slide in the name of avoiding a disaster with a customer. Say a customer is definitely going to get triggered, so just be like, I'm gonna let it slide this time, but just know that this is how things are. This is what's going to happen the next time you're in. Nothing wrong. You have a lot to learn from the helicopter manager. Like, clearly this person has experience, has a good skill set. You can learn by observing them, but unfortunately, the air when they're around tends to be tense. Sometimes if you ask them things, depending on what you're asking, they will be grateful that you're reaching out to them, but in other situations, they may not be completely transparent. They don't want to give you too much knowledge, too much power, to where you can become a little more independent. This person prefers that everything that, whether it needs approval or not, needs to go through this person. This person feels like if they don't know absolutely every single detail about what's going on everywhere at all times, they lose control. And this person also has a very tough time trusting you. You also hear this person commenting about other people. See, I'm going to leave this person in charge, but they're not going to do as good a job as I am used to. And, little comments like that already create the atmosphere of, okay, you're a perfectionist. There's no way that anyone can live up to your standards. It's also strange how this person somehow closely observes everything that goes on, in spite of this person always moving. You see them somewhere, then you see them somewhere else, and then something that happened in between the time that they weren't around, they somehow know what happened. They were able to scoop it out. Unfortunately, this is the kind of manager who, unlike the momager, which everybody sees the momager in the schedule and we all go, yes! When this person is on the schedule and you have a mutual shift with them, and it's an entire mutual shift, not just 30 minutes or an hour that it overlaps with your shift, you see that this person is there for the entire time that you're there, and you can't help but be like, fuck! You just get frustrated. Everybody always reacts that way. Unfortunately, working when this person is around, if you're being sincere, it's just never fun. And you feel bad about feeling that way, but it's the truth. Also, when this person is around, your immediate coworkers, like say other fellow cashiers or whatever, even if all of the ones who are with you on the floor are part of your squad, the squad goes quiet when this manager is around. And unfortunately, this type of manager also tends to be stressed out, but unlike the don't give a fuck manager where they're stressed out but they don't take it out on you, this type of manager tends to take it out on you. Also, last but not least, this is going to be the meanest thing that I probably say here, but this type of manager gets there late, and because they're getting there late, you think that they're absent, but you just haven't found out about it. But then when you ask, people tell you, no, this person hasn't reported themselves as absent. Just when you're done discussing their attendance, they show up and your dreams are absolutely crushed because you had hope that this person wasn't going to be there. So you were getting ready to celebrate, but you have to cancel. Finally, another detail I can think of is that you try to be tight with this manager, but you tend to be incompatible because this kind of manager may be potentially someone who gets offended easily or misinterprets jokes. This has been unfortunately the most challenging experience that I've ever had, but at the end of the day, there was a lot of valuable stuff to be taken from this person, but I just wish that the atmosphere would have been a little more welcoming. Finally, this is my favorite ideal kind of manager that I personally like to model after. And this is the legit manager. And it means that this manager will coach you. If there's an opportunity for you to improve in something, they will coach you right there on the spot. And it really feels like you're in a school because they know how to handle coaching, as opposed to making it sound like you're being criticized. They're like, hey, I have observed that you did this. Next time, try this instead because it will help you achieve A, B, and C. After that discussion, that's when you say, oh, I never thought about that before. Thanks for letting me know, because this whole time I really thought that this was the best way to go about that. This type of manager also enforces the rules. Because this type of manager enforces the rules, they tend to not be scared about going down the disciplinary action road. And unfortunately, the troublemakers in the department will interpret this person as being really mean and moody and you cannot trust them. But then you personally hear that other people are complaining about this person and this is your model manager, and you cannot help but be like, have you actually spoken to this person? If you're doing your job and you're on this person's good side because you're reliable and getting the job done and you're team oriented and everything, there is no reason why this manager is going to leave you feeling that way. I don't have that kind of experience with this manager, and I find that I am the absolute opposite of who you are. So maybe that's why I'm having a better experience with this manager. When this manager is around, the best thing about it is that you tend to have the best shifts, simply because this manager is really taking charge. That department is functional. Everybody seems to be working at an equal pace. It's not you are doing much more than this other person. There's absolutely no slackers allowed when this person is around. You also can prove this because when this manager is not around, you find that stuff just doesn't go as smoothly, and at the end of your shift, you weirdly enough feel more tired. This manager is excellent at appeasement and diffusing situations with customers. You cannot help but just look up to them, especially if your intention is to move up in the company. You also confide in them because you know that whatever you tell them will absolutely stay there and not somehow be spread. I have had situations where I have confided something with a manager that I thought they understood was something personal that I did not want divulged. And next thing I know, their entire crew knew about it. And I'm like, that wasn't supposed to have spread like that. Even if I don't have issues with the other people you told, it's just what I prefer. You also trust them. And this is my favorite part about it, because as someone who definitely does not trust people, I am major cynical. This person just comes up to you and sees you down one day and they're like, hey, what's happening? I really want to help. I know that I can help. Trust me. What is happening? And then you give them the chance and you trust them and you see that they handle that situation and turn life around, and you just have better days as a result. From that day forth, you're just really tight with this person, and you cannot help but be so grateful. And you wonder how you got so lucky and blessed to have this type of manager around, because that's not your perception of managers. In fact, if you're young and you start your first job and you feel intimidated by managers, when you stumble upon this type of manager will definitely kill your fear of managers. And once you meet this manager, you hold every single manager, present and future, to that standard. And unfortunately, it seems like it'll be impossible to surpass or even equal the quality of this manager. Like I mentioned earlier, slackers will of course hate on this person very unfairly. My favorite thing about this manager is that they will express and explain things to you respectfully. Part of the respect is also making sure that they're explaining things what they really are. They tell you what you can expect, when it's going to happen, how it's going to happen, how it's going to affect you, and the resources available to help you adjust to your new reality. I wish that more managers did that. I wish that more managers kept things real as opposed to keeping certain details in the dark, and then when something launches and you're not happy with it, you cannot understand why the employee is upset. Yeah, we're upset because you kept this secret. This is changing our lives and our careers, and you couldn't tell us about it. So there you guys have it. That is my personal list of the types of managers that I have had experiences with. I hope that you liked the topic. Let me know what your experiences have been with managers. What kind of managers have you had? What kind of managers have you loved and not loved so much? And even what kind of manager have you been? Or what kind of manager did you used to be, but then you evolved into something better? Or what kind of manager are you? And why are you that way? Why do you stick to being that way? If applicable, did I make you aware of certain things that you didn't consider people may think about you, or you identified as a negative manager and I helped you become aware? Or did I help you become aware of how awesome you are? Anyways, thank you guys so much, and I'll see you soon.